Welcome. Last week we were talking about my savings, and this week I thought I would share a bit more about the process behind the change and how I am going to and how I am recovering my finances on top of the savings I'm gathering. I'm saving for the emergency fund, but my main point is to have all my debt paid off. In my situation, it will take years, unfortunately, but it will. And we are paying it off aggressively, but not in a way that we would start living frugal life without like anything. I'm not ready for that. I have a family, I have kids, and I don't want them to remember that 3 years of their lifehood was just surviving. So we're trying to find the balance so that we have enough money saved for the emergency so we don't have to take any new debts and living our life and paying off our old life. Basically, I only have like 15 subscribers, so most of you do not know me. My name is Jutta, and this is my channel. This is my diary. This is my story. We are here finding out how I'm recovering my finances and how that affects our life and what led to this situation. What originally happened was that last year, during these times, I was starting to really stress about money. I have known for years that we lived in a way that was not sustainable, but I always had this hope in my head that we would make more in the long run. Like next year I'm going to have a raise, or I'm going to have a new job, or my husband's going to have a new job, or the raise, or something else magical would happen and we would have more money to use. To a certain extent that happened. We got multiple raises, nothing major, but some raises, changed jobs, and got other like opportunities to fix the issue, but we never did. And that was the circle we were in. And in that circle, we collected all sort of debts, and they're still there. So now we are resolving the issue. So last year, during these times, I came to a point where I was so tired of the situation. Everything else in my life was okay, but I was so tired, frustrated, disappointed, anxious, and stressed out because of the money. Basically, every day I had to check my account to see if I still have some to buy food. Basically, that was it. Every time I paid a bill, I had to check that if I pay this now, do I have enough money for the rest of the month? I had to postpone some bills, I paid bills late, or I just didn't pay them until the next month. So this was the situation where everything that we had built up started to bubble up and explode in our face. I did a thing I really didn't want to do and I hadn't done, which means I made a budget. And within that budget, I realized things that I didn't know were true. So I didn't do a budget for the future because I didn't have an overall picture of the money we were spending, of the bills and anything. So I wasn't able to do a budget for the following month because I didn't know what the expenses were. So I did a budget regarding our previous. And what came up was partly something I knew and partly something that made me gasp. You can see our four top spendings. Our take home pay was like 4 to 4,500 euros per month. And these were all like fixed costs that we paid every month. And as you can see, our housing was not that expensive. It was reasonable. That's our mortgage and the interest rate. And then we had this monster here, and I had no clue that this is the total amount of money we use for transport. We had built our life in a way that we would achieve the Finnish living standards, which are stereotypically you have your own house, you have your family car, you have your small car, spare car, you have your dog, you have your 1.5 children, and so on. Like the basic family dream. So we had our house, and our house was in a place where you absolutely needed a car. And in our case, two cars, because we were working in different directions. We had two financed cars, all the insurance payments, and gas for both of them. And that was almost 1,000 euros. That's more than our house. Okay, that was a lot. And I was always, I know it sounds delusional, but I always thought that we were somewhere around 500 with the transportation. And I don't even know how that's possible, because even the monthly payments were more without any expenses. But that was what I thought it was, not too much. I didn't think it was the reason we didn't have money. Transportation was not it, but it was. Then we had food and drinks. To be fully honest, we didn't eat out, mostly never, because my husband was so allergic to many things that it was impossible. So we only ate at home. But I didn't budget anything, I didn't plan anything. I went to the store and I bought whatever I wanted. I came back home, and a week later I throw most of it away because I didn't use it, and then I did it again. So not very smart, I can say that. Then the fourth one, which was a total surprise, a huge wake up moment, was our media and IT payments. This is including internet, phone bills, phones, Netflix, or other monthly subscription and stuff like that. Almost 500 euros. And that's ridiculous. In my mind, once again, I know this is delusional, but in my mind, I was like, okay, we pay 100 euros for the phones. We had three at the moment, and like 50 euros for the internet, and that's it. If I would have made a budget for the future at that point, I would have budgeted 150 euros for this. And the truth is, it's like 3 times more. And I didn't know. I didn't understand. So this is the starting point. Of course, on top of this, there is other expensive here and there, like water and insurance and just basic shopping, clothes, doctor payments, everything like that was scribbled in between, and one can calculate that we ended up with absolutely nothing. This does not include, for example, our credit card payments. There's no room for them. So it meant we paid the credit card and then we used the money again to make this all possible. So this was our wake up moment. We needed to make a plan what to do about it. I knew in a way from the start that we needed to make a huge change, and I mean huge in every way possible. So we did some changes, sold some stuff to pay off like those little things that were dragging behind. In the meanwhile, we were also thinking that what is the end goal for us? We kind of knew already, but maybe it was like the pressure from the outside, maybe many things, but we both agreed to the initial plan, but before it was made, neither one of us was brave enough to say it out loud. We lived in Ireland 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, and we loved it. We went back to Finland, things just happened, we got stuck and we stayed there, but the dream was for both of us to come back. And once that was said aloud, things started to happen. We decided to sell the house, sell the cars, sell most of our belongings, meaning that we would move with just a couple of suitcases. That way we could start fresh. You can't just leave these things behind fully, because if you have, for example, credit card debt, you have to pay it. They will come after you if you don't. But what we did when we sold everything, we used every penny to pay off as much as possible, and that gave us a huge head start. We got rid of like 200,000 euros of mortgage, 30,000 euros car loan, 15,000 euros for another car, and basically all of the ones that are in the media and IT section, because there was a lot of phones, computers, and stuff like that. Of course, we discontinued all our monthly subscriptions and made these type of choices we should have made a long time ago. So we came to Ireland and decided that since we're starting new, we can teach ourselves new things and we can teach our children new things. In general, this means that here we are making better choices. And because I'm new myself, I believe that making this big, even drastic change of life gives me the opportunity to really reconnect my brain around money. I think it worked. Once we came here, we kept paying off the debt, but it happened that I may have gotten a bit too excited about it. So I used all of our money to pay off as much as possible, everything away, which led again to a situation where we didn't have any money. And that was stressful. So we had to take a couple steps back, and this is how I budget these days. Each of us adults and our older girl has an own account, and then we have a joint account between me and my husband, which is the invoice account. In the invoice account, we keep an invoice money that is meant for all the invoices that come in and they can be paid right away. And we top up that account every time we get paid. And when we get paid again, we will use the leftover money to make extra payments for any debts we still have, mostly credit cards. I'm doing now a budgeting always after the month is gone. I'm collecting all the payments we make and see where we used money and reflect on that, thinking like after it happened if it was worth it. This way, we may be paying a little less of the debt, but for example, a couple of weeks ago, we went to a zoo and it cost like 40 euros, but it was worth every penny. If the kids wanted to go to the zoo, for example, in April, I wouldn't be able to do it. This is how I'm gonna keep doing this. I still want to live. This is a new place for us. We have a lot of places to see, but I also want to have a better future, lower my stress levels, to control my finances. And in here, I've made those decisions and I've keeping myself up to date what's going on, so there's no surprises. I feel much better now. I feel much less stressed about money. I still know there are a lot of things to pay, and I know it will take us years to be completely clear, but at least a couple of few months have taught me that I can do this. I can do this without eating just macaroni and ketchup for the rest of my life. Like, this is not an ideal situation. This is probably not an ideal plan, but this is working now. Every month, when I look back to the previous month and I look at the budget and where we used money, I use that knowledge to make better decisions in the upcoming months. So I'm learning all the time which things in this family, in our household, within these people that actually live here and live this life, are the things that are worth using money for. It's been very eye-opening. Have been conversations between us adults and the kids that we have been able to teach them about money. We have been able to give them a steady budget and stuff like this we never did, because I didn't want to talk about money before, because I would, in the worst moments, just cry. It was that bad. This month is coming to an end. I will make you a budget video next week. You can see how I do the reverse budgeting, and I will explain you the idea I have behind that, and maybe you can use that to motivate yourself too, and maybe you can use this story to start your journey if you are in the same place I was. I hope you all the best, and if you made better decisions than me, it's all good. I hope you the best too. My struggle is just my struggle. I don't envy other people. If they have a better situation, I'm happy for them. I don't blame anyone for the situation. It's my doing, my internal ideas, my thought of what should be and could be and would be. If you have any questions, you are free to ask. If you want to share, you are free to share. You can send me a message. You can do whatever. Teaching myself to talk about money openly, not just the struggle, but the good things too. And you can talk to me if you want to. In my TikTok, you can find my daily micro savings. I try to save something, even if it's something very little, like 50 cents. I'll try to save something every day. Here you can find the subscribe button and the bell notification. If you press those, you get notified when I upload a video. And that's about it for today. I think this is long enough. I think this is enough. I wish you all the best for the rest of the week and see you on Thursday.